In today's video, we're going to take that pile of t-shirts that I know you've got shoved into a drawer and turn it into something that you can wear all spring and summer long. Nice and flowy and easy to make. So grab your sewing gear and let's get into it. First off, lay all of your t-shirts out on your table. You're going to need probably 4 to 5 t-shirts for all of the layers, and then you're also going to need one shirt as your hero t-shirt. At least that's what I'm calling it. That's going to be the main one that's on the top of your creation. Also take note of any pockets or any sort of other elements that you might want to incorporate into your design. Now, once you've got all of your t-shirts stacked, we're going to actually stack them and we're going to lay all of the bottom hems together. We're going to try to utilize as many hems as we can so that we won't have to do any sort of extra finishing towards the end. I actually had an idea for this dress that turned into a different idea halfway through, so keep watching and you'll see kind of how things unfolded. So if your hero t-shirt is a little bit too small, I'm going to show you how we're going to make that larger. If your hero shirt is already big enough, you can go ahead and skip to the construction part of the video. But once you get all your t-shirts nice and flat, you're going to measure how much from the bottom hem that you're going to cut off. You're going to need some sort of marking tool. I'm just using a piece of chalk and one of my rulers, and I'm just going to measure out exactly from that bottom hem up to the graphic, and I'm just going to cut all the way through all of my shirts. Now also we're going to utilize the top parts of the shirts, and since they were all different sizes, I did have to cut these individually, but I just measured all the way across and make sure that it was fairly straight. I mean, most of this is eyeballing because, we just kind of wing things around here, but yeah, go ahead and cut out the front and backs of all of the other shirts. And again, making use of any pockets or any sort of other little graphics that you might want to use. Now, on your hero shirt, this is the part where I'm going to show you a couple different ways that we're going to make it larger. Now, again, if your shirt's already big enough, you can go ahead and skip to the next part. But on the hero shirt, what I did was I took a shirt that I actually recently upcycled, and I used that as a template as far as what size that I wanted to make it larger. And what I did was I measured also how long that I wanted the hero shirt to be. For me, to my natural waistline, from the top of the shoulder to my waistline, it's about 20 inches. So I measured all the way across on my hero shirt and just cut it right across. Now, while you've also got your hero shirt, you can go ahead and see how much extra that you want to add. Now, based on my measurements and the flowiness and size that I wanted it to be, I needed to add about 6 inches to each one of the sides. Now, one of the ways that you can do this is you can add a strip of material on the front and the back. It just all depends on how you want that hero shirt to look. That's one way that you can add. You can also use a contrasting color if you wanted to add a little bit more of a patchwork look. You could also cut up the back and add a little triangle insert if you wanted to have a little flowy back piece. That would also be a good idea if you had like lace that you wanted to incorporate. But the way that I'm making my shirt bigger is I am just adding an extra shirt and just adding a whole lot of extra width. I wanted to go at least 6 inches, but I actually went bigger because I wanted this to be extra flowy. So I cut off the sides of the hero shirt, and then on the additional shirt that I'm using, I just went ahead and used all of the sides that I could. You can see that I'm cutting right beside the neck hole on this shirt. Now, once you get everything cut and trimmed up, you're going to attach your sides to your hero shirt in your preferred method. I like to use my serger, but if you're using a sewing machine, you may want to use some of these stretch needles, and that'll help things not pull and tear in your fabric. But once you attach the sides, just make sure that the bottom is nice and trimmed up before we get to the next step. I measured across my new hero shirt to see exactly how much that I needed to add on the layers. Now I measured across and it was about 30 inches. So I doubled that measurement and I would need at least 60 inches for the front and the back. Now, if you wanted to add a lot of gathering to this, you would actually need even more fabric. But what I did was I took the pieces that I was going to use on that first layer and also any other graphics like this little Hello Kitty pocket. I was going to add that as a pocket and I may still do that. But what I did was I measured all of the widths just to make sure that I had enough fabric. And it actually ended up that I had too much and I needed to do a little bit of trimming before I added it to the hero shirt. But once you get all your fabric laid out in the orientation that you like, go ahead and attach those together into one big kind of loop. You can see here where I had a little bit too much fabric, so I had to do some modifications before I closed up the tube of fabric. But once you're happy with the orientation and all of the different pieces that you have, you can go ahead and sew those all together. So just a little interlude while I'm recording this video. I've had this serger probably about 4 years now. I guess I didn't read the manual all the way through because I just discovered that this thing can gather. And I've tried it with different fabrics, like silky, like super flimsy fabrics, it doesn't do very well. But like quilting cotton, woven fabrics, chef's kiss. And I just did a sample on a shirt because I was like, I hadn't tried it on a knit fabric. I just wanted to show y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Perfect gathers. And I didn't have to like do a basting stitch and pull it out and this and that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if I can find a shortcut and a hack, some sort of way to make things go smoother, faster, easier, then I'm going to tell you all about it and I'm going to use it. So yeah, my serger is a Brother Lock 1034DX. It has a gathering foot and it can do this. So yeah, read the manual of your machine to learn all of the little tips and tricks. It will benefit you in the long run. Anywho, back to the video. If you don't have a serger, don't worry about it. You can use your regular machine to gather. But I like to use the tools that I have available. So I decided to use my serger, even though it was definitely a little bit finicky. So once I got done ruffling everything with my machine and fighting with it for a little bit, I was super duper excited with how it turned out. But I actually measured my fabric very, very well for not really doing that particular of a measurement. So excited that I did not even continue on with the dress. I stopped here because I really, really loved the length and I loved how it turned out. But if you wanted to continue and make it even a longer dress, then all you got to do is add those additional pieces that we included and that we cut earlier, and you'd have you a even longer dress. But I absolutely love this, and I'm going to be wearing this more than once during this summertime. But yeah, if you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I would love to see or hear if you make one. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.